Good morning, everyone. We're just going to give people some time to hop in. Start in a few seconds here. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Aqueduct Cisco Live 2025 Roundtable. We're so glad you're joining us to start your day. My name is Rachel Damsky, and I'm the marketing specialist here at Aqueduct Technologies. I will be kind of just keeping an eye on everything throughout the session, so I'll be here. Just a quick note before we begin, today's session is being recorded. We encourage you to keep this interactive, so if you have questions at any time, feel free to drop them into the chat or Q&A box, and we'll make sure to get those answered for you. And with that, I'm going to hand this over to our facilitator, Chandler Bassett, Aqueduct's VP of Solutions and Strategy, to kick things off. Chandler?
Thanks, Rachel. Appreciate it. Now, I do want to call out, just we did in the past couple coffee chats, that there is no roundtable. And I know that's a big misnomer. We're doing this digitally. I mean, Matt's in the Cape, for Christ's sakes. Look at him. He looks fantastic. I also wanted everybody to know that we're doing this a little bit differently than we did in the past. Matt and I are going to tag team this. So for those who are not aware, I run the front of house here at Aqueduct, the pre-sale side. Matt runs the post-sale side. So we figured we sent both of our teammates to Cisco Live to get a differentiated experience of how we see the technology, and we think that lends itself to a more well-rounded thought process and conversation. That's kind of what we're going to bring to you today. So, Matt, if you could please introduce yourself, and then from there, I just want everybody else to add themselves in as well.
Yeah, thanks, Chandler, and good morning. Good to see you again. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Matt Albrecht. I'm the Director of Professional Services here at Aqueduct, which really just means I'm lucky enough to play a small hand in leading the best service delivery team in the East. So I had a couple, as Chandler said, yeah, we had a couple people from the post-sales side, which is my organization, go to Cisco Live. We had a couple from the pre-sales side, which is typically what we do. And it gives us a really good kind of 360 on how to digest the information, I think, when we come, especially when we come and talk about it like this. So I'm going to put somebody on the spot here. Eric, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure thing. So hi, everyone. I'm Eric Cotter. I'm the Technical Director for Network and Security here at Aqueduct. I've been here for over 8 years, and I've had the opportunity to lead a wide range of enterprise networking and security initiatives for our customers and for ourselves. So really enjoyed Cisco Live this year. Lots of good information. Really enjoyed seeing everything there, and looking forward to talking to it.
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm Mike O'Brien. I'm on Chandler's team. Everybody just knows me as OB. I'm a pre-sales solutions architect. If you can believe it, this is, I think, my 12th Cisco Live. So I've been going to these things way back in the day when it was called Networkers. So that was my original one that I went to, and then almost a dozen later. So to Eric's point, the show was great. It was actually awesome to have a new venue. I mean, as much as Vegas is fun, just getting a change of scenery, change of pace, it actually, to me, it kind of changed the vibe of the whole show as well. It was a little more calm and subdued versus, the glitz and glamour of Vegas and, kind of high energy, go, go, go all day long. So it was actually a really good show. The funny part is, and the guys will smile when I say this, but you go to these things for, you're on the show floor for 10 hours a day, and it's amazing how many steps you actually get in while you're going through all this stuff. So we'll get into some kind of details of it for, folks that may have never been to a Cisco Live, just to kind of get a storytelling version of what to expect from it, what we saw at it, some of the innovations that came out from it. So yeah, that's me.
This was, to that point, it was in San Diego in 12. Was that the last time it was in San Diego in 2012?
No, I think 2019 was the last time it was in San Diego.
Okay. So they definitely, they sprinkle it in, but when it hits, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. The one thing I forgot to do, you look at it geographically and it's like, oh, geez, we're almost into Mexico. So I didn't bother to check the weather. I landed, and I think it was 59 degrees out when I landed with just the t-shirt on. So note to self, check the weather next time.
Nicely
That's like
done, team.
that's the height of summer for you in Buffalo, though, man.
Are you kidding me? It's 93 here yesterday.
Oh, and
What
finally, Gerard.
what's going on, y'all? Can everybody hope everybody out there's doing well? I am Gerard Cavalinas. I am a network and security engineer for Aqueduct Technologies. Some of you may know me from that. I'm also the founder of Tech House 570, which is I make content to help people within the IT community, those coming in, those who are already into it, looking to get into networking, security, and everything all around. This was my fifth Cisco Live, I think. This is because I'm gonna count the virtual ones. I know some don't. I'm counting them because I need them. Gets me to NetVet next year. But no, first time in San Diego for me, and it was like just to piggyback off what OB said, it was beautiful. Like I got off, I had a hoodie, but granted it was torrential downpouring here in Pennsylvania. So, but when I got off, I was like, man, definitely an incredible event. I can't wait to dive into it. There were so many great takeaways, so many things that I kind of knew about, some things that I didn't, some things I can't even talk about. There's a few NDA sessions I have to keep quiet on, and yeah, it was just an amazing time all around. So definitely looking forward to this.
I mean, Gerard, I think you're being a little bit humble about your participation in Cisco Live as well.
Just a little. I try.
So as any typical conference, you get your badge. I think Gerard had so many little sticker add-ons to his badge. He was about to trip on the front of it. So, and one of those that was pretty cool was having a coworker of ours actually have a speaker badge on his conference badge. So, Gerard, you want to explain that real quick?
Yeah, so I had the distinct honor and privilege. I normally do, some public speaking engagements, but this year was a little different. I'm trying to kind of expand that horizon, right? Well, I got the opportunity to do first time orientation for all the new Cisco Live attendees at Cisco Live this year in San Diego, right? So it wasn't just another in-person event for me. Like this was my first time speaking, and it was that in itself I could talk about forever. But what was really cool about it was as I was coming around the building, and I didn't share it, there was like it sold out, and you see all those people waiting there, and to interact with them, right? Just to walk up to them, and a lot of them knew me from different things, and it's just a very humbling experience to not only know that my learning and my experience at Cisco Live, both technically and the event as a whole, now I'm sharing that with others on a stage in front of so many people. So it was definitely like a full circle moment. It was really cool, and to represent Aqueduct as well as with just myself. It was definitely pretty interesting. It was once in a lifetime experience. I'd say that.
They were strict on the session too. I got denied at the door because of my NetVet
Should have
lanyard
told
that I
me.
had on.
Should have told me. I knew somebody would have got you right in, brother.
Gerard knows everybody there.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you before we get into the rest of it to like compare again San Diego to Vegas for you personally, because now you've experienced both. How do you compare the two? Is it like OB says?
Yeah, I mean it's a whole different animal. Like Vegas in itself, they say like it's a city that never sleeps, right? San Diego sleeps. And I say that to say it's not just like more of a climate perspective, it's not just the environment, but it's also, I don't know, it's just there's something like the city's alive, right? Like Vegas, you're gonna have late nights, early mornings, and the city just never stops. Where San Diego's a little more, I want to say, laxed, if that makes any sense. Like it's just a whole other. It's like the vibe comes down a little. It's more of a, relaxed on it. Taking the weather, but the event itself is what I feel was just a change of venue, different expectations, technical presentations, and the theme I feel really fit too with the area, right? Like we're kind of keeping it down, the hot topics, and you're gonna hear this a lot. Just to forewarn, AI, right? AI is everywhere. It's baked into everything. It's what we're doing. I know, but I just feel like it fit overall.
Artificial intelligence?
Yeah, what is that?
Are you
Pretty new.
serious?
AI.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought I mean, here's the thing with Vegas. You're not going to walk out to take a break from the conference and start staring at the Pacific Ocean after that. So it was pretty cool. On the backside of it, you could walk out that a huge patio overlooking like the marina. It was cool.
so gentlemen, I gotta say, the venue sounds amazing. How was the show? Like, what were some elements of the event and the conference that kind of stuck out to you, or maybe what were some of the sessions that you felt were foundationally important to say the next 12 to 18 months of either Cisco or technology, maybe outside of AI?
That was one of the cool parts, Chandler. And
Okay.
this is something that, I've been to a few of these over the years, and
I
it was
heard one or
always
two. Yeah.
it was always
A
one of
couple.
those like cringe ones where it's like, hey guys, we have this fantastic widget coming out, and it'll hit the stores in 18 to 24 months. The difference was, and if you heard any of G2's like keynotes or anything like that, it was, we're coming out with this, and guess what? It's shipping in July. So
Yes.
it was just the speed of innovation is what I was taken aback by, because normally it's like, hey, here's your 6 to 9 month window before this great announcement is finally ready for the shelf in production. And it was more like, 4 to 6 weeks from a release date perspective. So I thought that was a huge difference than any other show, because they always come up with the prototypes, and that's what you're kind of looking at when you kind of get an opportunity to get your hands on it. But then to know that it was available to customers within the next couple of weeks was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I say I would love that was one of my things last year was they're like, hey, look at this new firewall, but you'll see it in 8 months. And I'm like, how could you get excited for that? But this year it was, and that was with a lot of their solutions too. I mean, one of them, I'll talk about a little more later, but like Live Protect, they're like, no, Live Protect is coming in September. We're not gonna have to wait 8 months. We're not gonna have to go through this. Like we could see it, but we can't touch it, right? We can't implement it. We can't offer it to our customers. We can't leverage those solutions. Like it's right there, it's ready. So the speed times and were definitely drastically increased, and I was excited for that too. I think a bunch of people sat next to me where I was in because I didn't make it into the big hall, but the people next to me, like one guy got up and clapped. Like it was just because it doesn't happen. So to see Cisco, leveraging not just these technologies for to help our clients, but also to move the processes along to get them into their hands and start deploying was really cool.
Just to build on that, I'll even say they had two big releases that happened as they did the keynote.
Yeah.
With the security cloud control and Meraki dashboard, the unified management there, they literally decided to pull the trigger during the keynote. I was
Yeah.
working in those platforms the night before, and then right after the keynote, I was getting messages saying, "Hey, what happened with Meraki? Like now it's a whole different different UI, different colors, stuff like that." So they pulled the trigger on a lot of these things.
I joked
Wait.
with somebody that they were like
In time for
RIP
that.
Greenbox. They were like RIP Greenbox. Like, because I was with somebody in the dashboard. He literally, it just refreshed in real time. It was just there.
Boom.
It was just like, pull the trigger. It's time. Do it.
And so a
Wait,
lot of these
Matt.
things, a lot of these things were like being tested prior to their announcement. So it was kind of nice
Matt, you
to see
had
that.
Cotter working at Cisco Live?
I can't stop. The man travels with a spare monitor. He's ready. He has like a full office set up within the first 30 seconds he's in the hotel room. It's incredible. I couldn't stop him if I tried.
I'm just saying, what the hell, man? That's wild. Give him a break. He's there to learn.
We're here to learn.
No, I think that is fantastic. And you're absolutely correct. I think year over year, Cisco has tried, and I think their heart has always been in the right place with the very famous BE infighting of different people have different ideas of what good looks like, and trying to consolidate a lot of those efforts in support of getting their innovation out to customers faster, or getting that innovation into their environments faster to help their businesses. And I think they've hit in some of those areas and they've missed in a lot of those areas over the years. I'll just be frank with that. I think what G2 represents and what he showed in a very short period of time is his ability to cut through that chaff and to really drive that in a meaningful way in market, and not just for Squawk Box and not just for prospectus, but really truly for the customers. And I've heard this sentiment echoed for a variety of my friends, and not just here, but others who went to the show who had said same thing. Like, hey, we were talking, and then someone hit Command R. I'm an Apple nerd, apologies. And then boom, dashboard is updated. Like they'd never seen that before. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I will also echo that maybe Cotter needs a day off. If he's working while he's at live, that's wild.
I was checking in on things. I wasn't actively working.
You know
during
what?
the
Hey,
conference.
he can't hurt you anymore. Okay? Just it's all right. It's all right. So that's absolutely fantastic. Were there any let's just steer into it. I think data and AI is absolutely fundamentally going to change so many things, not just everything that is uh purposeful and in the forefront of our mind, but things that we haven't even thought of, right? Like Gerard put a video out, I believe it was yesterday, talking about ICE is getting faster because they're throwing NVMe drives in those servers now. And
Yeah.
just right, that element of total fabrics getting faster around the supporting elements of the entirety of that tech stack. What is Cisco doing? And I'd love to hear from everybody. What is Cisco doing, uh, being that they're not really controlling the data fabric and they aren't NVIDIA, where a lot of that, the training and the inference from an AI fabric perspective is driving that innovation. So where are you all seeing that, and what did they showcase at Live?
So from my, and Chandler, you know this, when it gets to AI, it's like conceptually, it's like this really cool thing. But then when we get into all its different forms and fashions, it's like, I'm a networking guy. So um, what what was pretty cool to see was just the very stout partnership with a company like NVIDIA that's helping to drive a lot of the back-end computational aspects of AI, and how tightly integrated both companies were from a vision standpoint. So that was pretty cool. To your point, it's like it's almost like one can't live without the other in terms of driving this machine forward, in terms of a design. So obviously there was a lot of talk about it. I think I made a joke at one night at dinner, on the last night, where it was like, dude, if I hear the word artificial intelligence one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. Because and Matt shared a bingo card for all of us that literally just had all AI squares. So that was a highlight of it. Just the back end, when you look at the architecture of it, it's not just the models themselves. There's a lot that goes into actually connecting those models and helping them learn and input. Just the sheer networking connectivity that's needed in order to bring the clusters and pods, or whatever you want to call them these days, together from a compute standpoint, was pretty incredible. So seeing stuff get announced that we're going to be taking networking up into like the terabits in terms of not just backplane speed, because we've been there for a long time. We're talking port speeds. So that to me was like, holy cow! Now we're seeing Moore's law again in networking speeds, instead of looking at it from a compute standpoint. So I thought it was pretty cool. They showcased a lot of different stuff. Not only helping to drive the use cases for AI, but also very upfront and in your face. Hey, here's our use cases for AI. Gerard mentioned something like Live Protect. I mean, if you think about it, that is all AI and ML driven in terms of helping to protect a customer's environment against day zero vulnerabilities. How they do that is pretty cool, how they're going to be doing that from a containerization standpoint. So
Yeah,
that's my take on it. So
I remember last year when they were again still talking about AI, but you had like the Splunk acquisition, you had Hypershield. Hypershield's so integrated and baked into it because that's a piece of it, right? And it doesn't matter where you are, you're always going to have, look, when a CV releases, like G2 hit the nail right on the head. It takes 45 days for it to just sit out there, linger, right? It gets announced, and then they have to design a patch where it only takes maybe 3 days or less for it to really affect your environment. To be able to have something so cool where you could just one command done, and then it implements that compensating control. The best way I put it to my kids, because my daughter, right? I have a few kids, and my now 10-year-old, she's like, "What's it like?" I was like, "It's like a security blanket, right? And it covers you, and it just protects you until there is something out there that can fix it." Right? That's what Live Protect is in a nutshell. Like, even if a CV is out there, whether there's a patch or not for it, and look, Sometimes some customers, we got to wait, they may not want to patch right away, or they have to set a schedule up. That compensating control leverages Hypershield elements and capabilities, so it's just covered. You're cool. You're not going to worry your devices. And it's only for NXOS right now, so it's only on the Nexus stack, but eventually, September, I would even say with the rate of speed, probably around, I hope by October, or first week in November, you're going to see it across all the stacks. They're just kind of doing some testing. And again, that was really cool getting to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. You see the announcements, but then you see like, holy crap, like it's different. It's different. And the way they're integrating teams, it's not just, well, the network security team handles this, DevOps focuses this, leveraging AI in these models. Everybody's working seamlessly together, one end goal, right? Troubleshooting in real time, getting an end result and remediating. Like, it's done. It's nuts. It's incredible.
Man, I've been waiting my entire life to say this. Mr. Cotter?
Yeah, one thing that kind of stuck out to me was their like AI in a box like solution, basically just stacking all the different technologies, security, data, compute, and networking all in one solution to just be modular and put it where you need. So that way companies can integrate and implement LLM as they see fit. So it's not necessarily, hey, we're releasing this AI product that is definitely what you need, this, that, and the other thing. You can build your own. You can do what you need to do. You can see where the gap is and you can fill it in yourself. And here's the package to do it. And scale out. Yep. So
Yeah,
I thought that was neat.
I think it's really interesting when we talk to our customer base around, a lot of people have questions, and chief among them is, what do we do so we're not left behind? The first thing I bring up is you need to ensure that you have compensating controls and verifiable security constructs for whatever the hell you do. I don't care what it is. You can have, you can literally have the biggest computer. You can have Gronk in your basement. I don't care. If you can't secure it, it's useless to you because it will become self-aware. It will become sentient and will destroy everything. I mean, we've all seen all the movies. It's going to happen. So I think that's one of the things I believe Cisco is uniquely positioned, because they are wholly focused on enabling that outcome and that mission for customers, where they understand that they're not going to do what other organizations, what other OEMs are doing better than they are, right? And they're not trying to outcompete them. Similar to what they didn't do in cloud, for example. They didn't try to out Amazon or out Rackspace. They just, let's give you controls, let's give you manageability in cloud, and let's give you extensibility in cloud. And they did a really good job at that. So I'm incredibly excited and bullish around Cisco's ability to give you those verifiable security controls for whatever your business wants to do regarding your AI journey, for sure. Anything non-AI related you guys are excited about?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm not sure if it was necessarily a formal theme of Cisco Live, but it was definitely something that resonated across a whole bunch of stuff. And that to me was their efforts of unification. So I saw it all over the place. So we've seen some announcements in the past, nothing ground earth shattering that came out from a hardware perspective. We've seen kind of the mix of Catalyst moving over to Meraki managed, and that slow transition and unification of those platforms. I really think they started to blur the lines of what's a firewall, what's a router, what's an SD-WAN appliance, because they started to come out with platforms that perform all three functions and really doing it on the same hardware. And now we start to get into a question of which route do I go down? So that's the fun part for me. It's when I sit in those sessions to kind of see what the differences are. Like, why would somebody go with a secure router versus a secure firewall? Like, what's the difference between the two? Oh, and by the way, how can I integrate them into an SD-WAN fabric for connecting all of my locations? So The other big thing was on the application side of things. So there were simple things. Everybody's familiar, or I don't want to make the assumption that everybody's familiar with it, but the Meraki dashboard, Cisco's cloud management, unification on those types of things, where not only am I just managing Meraki devices from within that platform, it's giving customers a choice of on-prem or cloud management. Another powerful tool, Nexus Dashboard. I've talked to numerous customers about it, but the minute you want to do this, it's, hey, here's this part of the cluster, and then you want to get telemetry out of it. Well, we got to deploy this part of the cluster, and it was kind of these multi-node deployments where with their newer release, and to Gerard's statement earlier, it's coming. It's like out next month. Was completely unifying Nexus Dashboard from a management application standpoint. So the wireless side of things, you guys all know I'm a big wireless head and been doing it for a while. And Mr. Cotter made me realize that Wi-Fi is not actually an acronym; it's a trademark. So it was one of those. Why have I been thinking about that for 20 years? So there's some super cool stuff on the wireless side of things. Wi-Fi 7. I feel like after the show they were going to announce Wi-Fi 12 after that, because things are coming at such a rapid pace within there. Probably one of the biggest focuses from a unification standpoint, to keep on that theme, was if we think back to our wireless deployments, even 5 years ago, we had to do some specialized things where, we might have 25, 30-foot ceilings within a facility, and we've got mounts for an AP, for antennas, mounts for those, cables here to do this. And then all of a sudden you have this little sleek AP that has a directional antenna built into it. And oh, by the way, is meant for hundreds of clients, because it's just purpose built for high density. There was some really cool stuff that came out. And the best part is, it was, put your, what's the old saying? Eat your own dog food. So if you walked around somewhere like the World of Solutions, which I can talk about World of Solutions because you guys know that's my favorite part of the whole thing.
You've literally stolen everybody's ideas in your soliloquy here. So wrap it up, dude.
Just seeing the technology all around as well. So they had, some of the brand new announcements throughout the entire facility, and you could actually see how it worked live. I mean, they had all of these QR codes set up around the venue where you could literally tag it and look at Cisco Spaces application to see all of the analytics that were being captured from the venue as well. So it was pretty cool.
I do
That's
gotta
awesome.
ask, OB. I have to ask you real quick, because I did go over to the Wi-Fi 7 wall and I checked something else. But did you see the 9179F? It's the size. It's the size of my son times like, we did a video where we put our hand up to it and the AP was massive. Like, my hand looked small. Like, it looked like one of the little Lego toys. But
Yeah, I was
well,
gonna say that's
I'm
only
gonna put-
relative if we all understand how big your son is.
oh, he's like a butterball. He's like a turkey. He's
No,
Okay,
Gerard-
all right.
he's
Gerard,
stout.
to tell you how cool it was, it may have looked gigantic, but if you've
Yeah.
ever seen its predecessor, the 9104, it was almost
Yeah.
double size.
God.
Yeah, those older stadium models were wild. It is interesting,
Yeah.
right? Seeing all the convergence of everything.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back almost to a point you made, Chandler, kind of not to go back into AI, but to talk about it for 1 second, where it's going to create things that we didn't think of at the time. We're almost leveraging Wi-Fi 7 and upcoming Wi-Fi 8 and Wi-Fi N as, there's this ancillary thing of being able to handle additional client density, because we can push gigs and gigs over the air, but the clients aren't doing that yet. So why don't we just use the bandwidth to support hundreds of clients per AP instead? Put these things in auditoriums and warehouses and that sort of stuff. And I think it's very similar with the whole AI thing. Think about it in context of what the Industrial Revolution did for many markets and economies, etc., years ago, and how it's created these things that we didn't even think of. We went to the moon so we could have Velcro, all those sorts of things. That's the kind of stuff that I think is happening here, and I think it's reflected a little bit in the speed of the innovation and the releases that we're seeing over the last 18 months and probably into the future too. You guys are talking about these timelines shrinking, and I think like the snowball is rolling, right? And that's part of what's kind of going on here. I would love to hear more about what you guys thought of the world, and anybody except OB, what you guys thought about the world on there. And I want to be cognizant to be able to do some little Q&A at the end too, if we have any questions.
Yeah, 100. I'll keep it short. I mean, the world of solutions every year never is a dull moment, right? There's a lot of companies I'm fortunate enough to get to stop by and, kind of demo the solutions or meet with, again, other people. And I know there's always some standouts. I know Backbox was there, Open Gear, NetAlly. Like there was just so many different avenues to see how. And then like I really love too because I'm fortunate we assist with the planning of the event. And this year, how they switched up the world of solutions for the Cisco component, right? Where like last year you kind of had to walk through, to get to the network security side and collaboration was over here and data center and all this. This year they switched the model, like everything was so close together, so it was right there. And that was to keep with the centralized and unified theme, right? Of like one solution, yes, leveraging AI, leveraging telemetry, leveraging LLM, like, and you're seeing how, okay, well, this component works with this component works with that. So it was really cool to just have everything kind of close together. You could ask questions, and it was really great, especially leveraging the resources, asking the team members themselves, and meeting the people who are actually designing these products. Really cool. Plus, the Whisper Suites was awesome.
Eric,
Once
what did you do?
again,
You
Mr.
did a little
Cotter.
capture the flag, right? I
I
know that's your
yes,
thing.
I was yeah, got to spend some time doing capture the flag. Actually, I was there with Ed Ed Ganji, one of our network engineers, and he just went to town on capture the flag. I think he renewed his CCNA twice over from all the CE credits. So yeah, spent a lot of time there. Actually, I'm a big fan of the capture the flag series. It's a nice, for those unfamiliar, it's a gamification standpoint of doing labs, and you get to touch all the different technology. You get to work with demos and actually see the thing, and that's how I learned, by clicking and doing. Like, and that's where I got to touch on a lot of the cool stuff with secure firewall, messing around with the SD-WAN component of that, with some of the new security tools that we've actually recently gone through an upgrade internally, that I want to start flipping all the switches on all the new features that they've released, because of my experience with capture the flag stuff. Also on the SD-WAN side of things, Cisco SD-WAN, they're releasing their UX 2.0, much a more streamlined process for configuring your configurations and your policy groups, and it looks really good. It makes more sense for those unfamiliar with Cisco SD-WAN. It's always kind of been a beast getting into it. Once it's up and running, it's great, but the incremental building of all the stuff to make it work has always been a bit of a dinosaur monster to just take down. So the UX 2.0 makes it a lot more streamlined, it's more workflow oriented. So much easier to process, much easier to configure. So
I think it helps to, like, you can sort of see the vision, because when you have such a, like, not to dig too deep in SD-WAN, but like Viptela as an acquisition, already a very big established product, right? That said, here's our workflow. And Cisco said, well, this is ours now. To take that and just flip it into like a new workflow, right? It's not that easy. There's a bazillion components. There's all kinds of things. That's the most granular SD-WAN platform I think that's out there. But to kind of see that it's not a thing that no one's thinking about, right? And it's going through this evolution, and it's iteratively improving. And now we finally have this, it's not a switch flip, but kind of a switch flip to UX 2.0 and all that. It's pretty cool to, I don't know, it's cool to watch the evolution, and you can appreciate the amount of work that goes into bringing that vision to fruition too, because it's a lot.
It's so funny you say that. A little bit off topic. So Cisco, much like every larger technology organization, they invest in a bunch of different startups at a time. So they invested in Viptela, CloudGenix, and Velo. They just picked all the horses to see who won. They specifically bought Viptela because of the nerd knobs. Like, it was very Cisco centric. Like, hey, you can do all of the things at all of the times.
Everything.
Now, I would argue, is that appropriate for every every environment and every Cisco and every customer's network, probably not, but that's why they have Meraki SD-WAN as well. So pick your flavor, whichever makes sense. But just like the way you worded that, it just kind of triggered something into my head. It's like, yeah, that's very Cisco centric. Like,
Mhm.
hey, you can tweak this thing for this thing for this thing, and there's multiple subgroups. Yeah, that's Cisco like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they know their audience, right? There, because their audience has been banging on the keyboard in the CLI for the last 30 years, 35 years,
Yeah.
right? So like they know that people want to do the thing and see the stuff and get weird with it sometimes. And that's okay.
Speaking of, I
Yeah.
actually did do a nice long session of digging into the CLI for the Cisco SD-WAN, and just, I mean, you can get packet tracer level detail on some of the packet traces is great. So, anyways, I digress.
I think Eric is downplaying the capture the flag aspect of this. So I ran into Gerard outside of one of the rooms, and they had this big old screen and everything else going up, and Gerard and I just looked at it and we were like, how is at the top of this thing? Like, how did he get there?
Yeah,
Then
it
we
was
saw him later
impressive.
that night, and he's like, "Oh, the guy underneath me? He was a Cisco employee." He's like, with the two of us were going side by side the entire time. So,
That was pretty
and
cool.
then getting text screenshots from Ed the next day. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. I want to ask everybody. I have one last question I want to ask of everybody. And it's a question I'm going to ask Gerard first, because I just don't want to hear from OB right now. For obvious reasons.
Did I just leave?
Yeah, I think, thank you so much. Can you close the door on your way out? He's definitely a sales guy, by the way. He won't shut up. Where do you think, thematically, I think we heard a bunch of different things from your experience of Cisco Live this year.
Right.
A little bit more patient from how they're rolling things out, but not from elongated timeline. They're quick to action, but they're making the right decisions, right? They're taking calculated risk and they're executing on things they feel like are achievable in support of customer outcomes. All of that, where do you think, if you were to pull out a crystal ball, and I am putting you on the spot, I'm not going to I hate when people say, I apologize, I'm putting you on the spot. Where do
All
you
right.
think in the next 12 to 18 months, given your perspective on technology and your knowledge of Cisco, where do you think one or two big bets Cisco may be making, either in an acquisition target or your knowledge and understanding of Cisco's portfolio, like a splash that they may be doing?
I mean, I can't speak from a company perspective, but I would definitely want to see, like, they're going, like, when the whole Splunk acquisition took place, I think that was kind of inevitable because we saw where the market was shifting, right? We knew AI automation, and that's one thing too I want to be clear on, is because there's always such a connotation around AI. It's not here to take our jobs. It's not here to ruin our lives. It's here to make our workflows and what we do. It's here to make our lives easier. It's how we leverage it. So I definitely think they're going to be leveraging it more into AI-based companies. They're going to want to try to, acquire at least one or two more to integrate their technology into their current stack. How that may look, I'm not sure. I mean, especially after what I saw at live, I think that's what's crazy. It's like, where else can you go? Like, what else can you do? I mean, leveraging LLMs and being able to segment data paths and where you want, like how you're traversing data, where you're focusing on. It was just mind blowing. So where they're gonna go in the next 12 to 18 months, I'm very interested in myself. But I definitely see them acquiring another, one or two companies, AI specific based companies that, they want to integrate their technology into their stack and figure out how can we make what we're doing better. Because that's the thing, right? It's just like automation, when network automation, which is still popular, but there was that connotation like, well, this is gonna take our jobs. It's not. It's here to make your life easy. It's here if you scale it, you work with it, you treat it well, and you understand it. You have to be able to go slow with it and then test it, play with it, build it, and then from there, well, you'll have a better understanding. But changes. Not everybody's susceptible to change, right? There's always that resistance. So those are things we just have to have an open mind to be willing to embrace what is coming, at least
Yeah.
from that perspective.
Once again, God, I love saying this, Mr. Cotter.
Mr. Cotter, welcome back, Cotter.
I haven't heard that ever before.
No, I know. Look, dude, come on. Oh, come on, dude.
It's all good. It's all good. So, no, I'm really interested to see where they go with integrating the AI into into different platforms. So specifically, I got a little exposure to some of the backend systems that Cisco is working with, and finding a way that they currently, like today, a lot of the backend systems have a lot of disparate UIs, completely different UIs. You click on one thing, it opens up a new product effectively, and then you have another product that you click on, and they're completely different. I mean, what we've been seeing over the past year or two, we've been seeing a lot of the portals that we have to interact with Cisco getting a more streamlined approach and getting more unified. Going back to that unification um, um, theme is they're making things a little bit more streamlined, and they're using AI as a tool to do that. Where between basically, instead of having to go to all these different products, having AI kind of bridge the gap and be able to look into the different databases and pull the information that you actually need to make it more actionable, I think is one thing we're really going to see a trend for.
No, I like that.
Cisco has been saying intent-based networking for how long now? You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
they've achieved it. I think they've
Yeah.
achieved it to a large degree, to be clear. But I mean, how can you look at what's my intent and give me a human language interface of an AI LLM type of situation to lay on top of it so I can just speak my intent into the robot and make it go? Like, how can you look at that and not think that makes sense, right? That's I think it's
I mean, one of the things that they did showcase was the productization of what you just said, Matt. So they actually introduced, two big AI tools that are designed for network operations, make it more efficient, correlate things. The first one is more meant for the actual operator. It's simply called Cisco AI Assist, where it is, help me to do this multi-step workflow very seamlessly. And then one of the other big ones, oh shoot, what was it called? AI Canvas was another big one that they announced. And that, to Eric's point, pull from this and pull from this and pull from this and pull from this, rather than having to do that manually. Canvas basically allows you to customize that so that I can create things like a custom dashboard that I want to look at that is bringing in what data sets I feel are relevant and to make my decisions against. So those are some pretty cool things that are real products that they announced out there. So I know you didn't want me to talk, Chandler, but
No,
I
did not want you to talk. But and finally, Mr. O'Brien, what about you? Where do you think Big San Jose is going?
I think it's in the same space. We're in such a data heavy world right now that people are looking to glean as much information off the data sets they possibly can. What more efficient way to do that than to leverage things like artificial intelligence? So I think those, and we've already seen it. We know behind the scenes that they're, pumping a lot of investment into maybe startups or think tanks about what the use cases for AI could be, and then looking at it from a productization or in Cisco's real mind, a monetization of it as well. So that, let's not beat around the bush. They're a manufacturer. They're here to make money. And how do you do that? By getting customers hooked on, what you're selling. And I really think it's going to be in that space, and it goes across everything. So, I mean, even some of the simple things that make Wi-Fi 7 so cool. If you look behind the scenes, it's all AI and ML driven. That really help the secret sauce.
Will you say it though? Will you say what Wi-Fi is? Please say it.
It's actually a brand.
No. The nomenclature. He calls it boneless Ethernet.
Oh, yeah.
Boneless Ethernet.
It is so good.
That's what it is,
It
man.
is so good. And then I will just say the way Matt talked about intent-based networking and layering, like his sage just way about how he explains things, that was just that gave my mind a massage as you walked through that. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. Gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough for the time as this digital round table that was not round, but it was a wonderful, wonderful effort. We talked through a lot, not a drip of artificial intelligence, which was fantastic, but we also learned a lot about each other, which was great. And given enough runway, OB will talk about anything for forever. And that's what makes him fantastic.
So cool. He's only got 2 letters, OB. That's it.
Well,
Rachel.
Chandler, before we
yeah,
wrap
go ahead.
up here, before we wrap up here, thanks for letting me get out there. You know, it's not like it's a free trip, so I appreciate the investment in the learning model.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy. AQ is happy to send the technologists that we can. I wish we can send more. Rachel, I hope we did the marketing team proud. We're going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Well, thank you, Chandler. Yeah, this was a great conversation. Big thank you to everyone for just talking, breaking down everything that happened at Cisco Live. We will be sending a follow-up email with the session recording. And if you think of any questions after, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be sure to get you in touch with everyone here and they'll answer your questions. I also want to give a quick shout out and reminder about our next big event that's happening, which is our 3rd annual Cybersecurity Summit. It's happening on Thursday, October 9th. It's going to be a great one. We're really excited. We're going to be focusing on how to defend against the growing wave of AI-powered cyber attacks. So lots of AI in that one if you feel like you didn't get enough AI from this conversation. So we'll include a pre-reg link in our follow-up email, and we hope to see you all there. It's going to be a great event. We love it every year. It's so fun. And thanks again for joining us this morning. We hope you found the session valuable, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.
See y'all.
Bye.
Thanks all.
I guess.